Let's talk about one of the most critical skills you have as an RBT. It's something that goes way beyond just being polite. It's about being an effective, ethical, and absolutely essential part of your client's team. I'm talking about professional communication.
So, picture this. You're wrapping up a session. A caregiver who just looks completely drained turns to you and says that the behavior plan is making things worse. Oof. Your heart just sinks, right? It feels heavy, like a complaint, maybe even like they're blaming you.
So what do you do in that exact moment? What's your next move? Do you jump in to defend the plan? Do you apologize? Do you start offering your own suggestions on how to fix it? Well, the answer to that question really defines your professionalism and your role on the team. So let's break down exactly what your responsibility is here.
In situations just like this one, your most important job is to act as a bridge. That's it. You are the vital communication link, the person connecting all the key players who are working towards your client's success.
And think about it. This team is made up of a whole group of people who all see the client from a different angle. The teacher sees what's happening in the classroom. The speech pathologist sees the communication hurdles. And of course, the parents see what life is really like at home. No one person has the complete picture, and that's exactly why your role is so incredibly important.
And that is where you come in. You're on the front lines. You're the one gathering these little bits of information, these crucial insights from every single person on that team. Your job is to be the conduit, to channel all of that vital info directly to your supervisor, the BCBA.
So let's be super clear about this. Your role is not to analyze or interpret or try to fix the problem yourself. You are the messenger. You are the data collector. You gather the info so that your supervisor can make informed clinical decisions. Sticking to this is, well, it's fundamental to working within your scope of practice.
Okay, so what kind of information are we even talking about here? Because it's definitely not just about complaints or when things go wrong. There are some really specific categories of feedback that you need to have your radar on for.
This breaks it down beautifully. First, and this is the big one, we have safety and risk. Things like a new type of aggression. Then, there are program concerns. Maybe the plan is just too complex to run in a busy home. Third, progress concerns. A skill is looking great with you, but it's just not generalizing to other places. And finally, and don't forget this one, team suggestions. A parent might have an amazing idea for a new reinforcer. All of this stuff is pure gold. It's all valuable data.
All right, so you know what to report. But listen, the way you report it is just as important. Professional communication needs to be objective, it needs to be clear, and it needs to be completely free of your own judgment.
And wow, this slide just nails the difference, doesn't it? That messy version is all emotion. The program sucks, doesn't give your supervisor anything to work with. But look at the professional version. It's pure data. It specifies the behavior, tantrums, the context during homework, and the caregiver's specific concern. The routine feels unrealistic. Now that is information a BCBA can actually use to make a change.
So this all boils down to a super simple, repeatable 4-step process. Step 1, just listen. Don't argue, don't get defensive, just let them talk. Step 2, clarify things if you need to. Ask questions like, when you say he was aggressive, can you tell me what that looked like? Step 3, write it down objectively, just like we saw in the last slide. And finally, step 4, send it to your supervisor. That's the playbook.
Now this next part is huge. Not all information is created equal, right? A key part of your job is knowing how quickly a piece of information needs to get to your supervisor. This is all about understanding urgency.
Think of this matrix as your cheat sheet. If it's an immediate risk, we're talking severe aggression, elopement into traffic, anything that makes you think danger, you contact your supervisor now. Follow whatever your company's emergency protocol is. For things that are important but not an emergency, like caregiver frustration or a change in medication, that's a same-day report. Get an email or message out by the end of your day. And for milder things, like a new favorite toy or a small suggestion, it's totally fine to document that and bring it up at your next supervision.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the hard lines. And these are not just suggestions. These are the ethical boundaries that are in place to protect you, to protect your client, and to protect your supervisor.
First and foremost, you do not change the behavior plan ever. Not even a little bit. Even if a caregiver suggests something that sounds like the most brilliant idea in the world, your answer is always, "That's a really interesting idea, thank you. I'll pass that along to my supervisor so they can take a look." All changes have to come from the BCBA, period.
Second, you never, ever hide or downplay a concern because you don't want to bother your supervisor. I get it, but you have to fight that feeling. A parent's frustration, a teacher's report, that is critical clinical data. Hiding it isn't just unethical, it could actually be harmful to the client.
And really, this all comes back to one core principle. Your job is implementation and data collection. It is not independent clinical decision-making. You're part of a team, and the BCBA leads that team. You are never, ever expected to have all the answers or make these big calls on your own.
If you take just one thing away today, let it be this. When a parent or a teacher or anyone shares a concern with you, you need to reframe it in your mind. It's not drama. It's not a complaint about you. It is valuable, objective data that is absolutely essential for your client's progress. So I want you to think about your own sessions. Just for a second. What's some feedback you've heard recently? Something you've observed? After hearing all this, what is one piece of data that you now realize you need to pass on to your supervisor? Remember, your effectiveness really does hinge on your ability to be that clear, reliable bridge.